Hey, everybody. Welcome to Drunkards Walk, the podcast. It's me, Matt Hartman. You remember me. I host the show, but I don't do it alone. Oh, no, I couldn't. I can't lift that much. No, it's a heavy lift hosting this show. So half of it is taken over by none other than the infamous Jethro Nolan.
It is I. And thank you for acknowledging my infamy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff I've done. It's a matter of public record. We're not going to go into it now.
No.
But I'm quite an evil man. And hopefully, thankfully, law enforcement does not listen to this podcast. Otherwise, they'd track me down quite easily.
That's right. They would. Well, I mean, we very rarely give out your address on the podcast, so they might not.
Fair deuce.
Yeah.
I expect there's some techno wizardry where one could find out the IP address of the audio file used to record this. They could certainly confiscate your person and lock you in a room until you divulged my secret whereabouts.
They're going to confiscate my person? I need my person. What am I going to do without my person?
Well, don't consort with known criminals. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, that would have been a wise choice. Well, too late for that, folks. I've been consorting with this gentleman for close to a full 5 seasons now. We are dangerously close to the end of this season, as a matter of fact, but and dangerously close to the end of the year as well. 2021 almost in the rearview mirror.
So long.
No, you're not gonna miss it.
Can't say I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah. It's been.
I mean,
it's been a year.
I certainly like how it's ending more than how it started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe, I don't know. Peaks and valleys, man. Peaks and valleys. That's what this year's been all about. So, but not this podcast. This has been all peaks the whole time, which I guess is just a plateau.
Yeah. There you go. You've talked yourself into mediocrity there, Matt.
I sure have. Which that actually should probably be our tagline: talking ourselves into mediocrity. Drunkards Walk 2021. So anyway, we're excited to be back. For those of you that haven't listened to us before, good on you for tuning in episode 13 of season 5, and for joining us. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take a little walk, a little drunkard's walk through Wikipedia, following the links from one page to another. And we're going to start where we ended last week, and we're going to end at a destination that's being given to us by a guest that is here with us tonight. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have, I was going to use infamous again. I can't do that. We have the wily Brian Gura.
Woo! Hello. Hi. Thanks for having me, man. Really excited to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming on and doing this with us, and being so wily. It was tough to track you down until now.
I'm squirrely, but I'm a little larger than squirrel size. So that kind of puts me in the wily, beguiled, crafty category.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That.
Yeah,
I respect.
Yeah. Well, so folks will not be surprised to find out that I know Brian through improv. But not the Arcade Comedy Theater here in Pittsburgh. No, I know Brian from way back in my days at the DC Comedy Sports in Ballston Common Mall at the comedy. Was it even the Comedy Spot at that point?
I think it was still the Victoria's Secret / Comedy Spot. It was like they were still working on the renovation at that point.
Yeah, the old Vic as they called it, because it was the Victoria's Secret that had been modified and turned into a performing space for improv, which is, of course, that's what improvisers do, right? They turn spaces that shouldn't be performance spaces into performance spaces.
It's our gift.
Yes. And Brian and I met there in the early 2000s, I would say. And but I mean, man, I haven't seen you in years. It's just been years and years. What have you been up to? Where have you been? What have you been doing?
Yeah, it's so funny. It's been a while. I'm really excited to be here. So I may, talk fast or be nervous, but I'm just really excited to see you, Matt. It's been from the early 2000s. And let's see, I went to business school at University of Virginia, and then I almost immediately moved to Austin, Texas, and I met my wife there, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
she's a pretty cool lady.
Okay. So you didn't meet her there, like as in you sent her ahead of you and then you met there.
You go on. I'll get the luggage. No, it was a little more happenstance than that. In fact, it was. You know me, Matt, and I don't want to overstate my case here, but I'm a bit of a nerd, and when I moved to Austin, I at the time Match.com was just becoming a thing.
Yeah,
and, I'm a nerd. So I was like, people must use this just to like hang out and like get to know the city, you know? And I put my profile out there and put a big thumbs up, you know, a big smile, grin. And I don't know if I can say it on the show, but some of the responses I got were, I was not expecting it. I was not expecting the kinds of Match responses.
I see.
Can you be more specific about the types of surprises?
Basically prostitutes.
Okay. There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's what Austin is known for.
Yeah. But it was also more like, it was people, I think I was looking at it like, hey, let's hang out. I'm in a city. Like, let's hang out. And there were definitely people asking the kinds of questions. They were definitely looking for hookups. They were looking for more.
I see. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. Early Match.com. I guess I can understand that. That seems reasonable.
And then I think I checked like 8 out of the 10 boxes for like psychotic killer profile. You know, I did things like I had my wife actually pick me up and we went to the date together in her car. Like, you know, so it was in her vehicle. That was a little weird. Definitely
leave no trace. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely it was kind of cagey. Picked an elaborate, you know, activity and, you know, far from people. And ultimately though, she
free range grave digging.
Right.
Yeah.
she was game for it, you know, and it ended up working out. And you know, the thing that sealed the deal was she was really into trivia. She's like, oh, like let's do trivia. So then I committed like dating faux pas 101. On like our second date, I was like, why don't you come meet all of my work friends and we'll do a competitive trivia event together.
There you go.
So,
well, that at least weeds them out early.
Right.
If it's not going to work out, you can find out very quickly before you invest a lot of time.
But she held her own.
Yeah. Is your wife a native Texan?
She is. She was Austin, Texas, born and raised. And then we lived there for 10 years. And then I moved her to Cleveland. She moved with me. She was brave enough to move with me after 10 years.
It must be love then.
It has to be something. And we live in Cleveland, Ohio.
Well, it's definitely love then. God, she followed you to Cleveland. Holy cow.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to say anything nice about Cleveland because we're from Pittsburgh. So it's, you know, we have to say
giving away my location again, Matt,
sorry. I mean, I'm in Pittsburgh and Jethro's in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. No. Anyway, it is wow, it sounds like a wild ride that you've been on. Wow, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've been have you gotten back on stage at all? Have you done any improv since back in the day?
No, you know, it's funny. When I was in Austin, I was looking around for improv things, but nothing could compare to the old Vic. And then, you know, no excuse, but then, you know, I went kind of day, week, month, year. And I'm somewhere between year, and you're dead. And so I never really got back into it, just working and living life.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, you ever want to take a little trip down to Pittsburgh? We'll get you on a Comedy Royale show, a little competitive improv show we got going on here at Arcade.
Do you still do improv, Matt?
Yeah, I do. Well, to say that I do, I mean, I haven't in like 2 years because of, you know, COVID. But as soon as now that my daughter's fully vaccinated, I hope to be getting back on stage and producing this little show. So yeah, let me know if you want to
come and be a part of the audience. I'd love to support you. And
get on stage, man.
Come on. We'll do that too.
We'll get you in the show. There you go. Just, I don't want audience participation. Come on. What a waste of time. So yeah, well, again, thanks for coming. And you have a topic or a destination for us tonight?
Yeah, by the way, I had to tell you the pressure I feel. You all have some amazing topics, but when I saw that you were looking for a topic, I thought the topic of Gilda Radner would be pretty cool.
There you go. There's
fantastic.
It's talking comedy. I mean, that's
we were talking comedy. We're talking about
one of the best.
Funny, and we're talking about women in comedy. My wife's kind of funny too, I'll say. And
okay.
So what? Obviously, Matt and I both know who Gilda Radner is, but for the uninitiated listener who may or may not have grown up in the same cohort as us, tell us a little bit about Gilda Radner and why you chose her.
Sure. I actually don't know very little. I should have done my homework, so I'm going to take the 0 on my homework assignment and prepping for this.
Okay.
So I'll
just
speak
bullshit then.
Right. I'll just speak extemporaneously, and then you guys can fill in the gaps. But
sure.
I thought of Gilda Radner because Gilda, I'm a little bit older, and she was a comedian who, in my brain, was always on Saturday Night Live. She was like an SNL comedian back when it had some heavy hitters, some just absolute all-stars performing every night. It's like Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and Gilda Radner was one of them. And it was a pretty special treat, for me to stay up late. I was a little bit younger, to watch that sort of thing and watch it with my dad. My dad was into comedy. And so watching her, and then, as I got older, I also learned interesting things about her. Like, she was married to Gene Wilder, and I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was weird that they have kind of the same sounding name. Kind of annoying, like Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner. Maybe not, but there's something going on. There's like an sound and a G. Anyway, yeah. So I thought, comedy person, Saturday Night Live, funny as heck, and just great female comedian of that era who hung out with these all stars.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and was an all-star herself. I mean, she's widely considered one of the best. Certainly best sketch comedians of all time, probably best comedians of all time. I will admit, I've never seen any of her. She did do stand-up, right? Jethro, you certainly know
she did. So I would consider her more of an actress than a stand-up, because like stand-up, I have a very narrow window of like one person on a stage telling jokes,
right?
Or variations thereof. She was more of a comic actress. Like, she had a Gilda Live, like a one-woman show on Broadway where she would do sort of one-woman scenes that's available on a streaming service somewhere, I suppose. But she's just I think of her like a Madeline Kahn, like just an incredibly talented comic actor who sadly taken from us far too young, but just was hilarious and incredibly gifted. And it's impossible to think of comic actors that she could not do better than or hold her own with.
For sure. Yeah. For sure.
And just the idea of her being married to Gene Wilder, another comic actor who I hold in high esteem. Like, it's almost impossible to imagine how fun they were together. Because I'm no Gene Wilder, nor am I a Gilda Radner, but I'm married to somebody who does comedy, and we certainly enjoy that element of our lives together. And neither of us is as good as Gene Wilder or Gilda Radner. So I can imagine that their married lives had to be even more hilarious than mine.
Yeah. Which is tough to imagine, but is probably true.
There you go.
Well, that's great. That's a great topic for us to go to. And you mentioned that we have good topics. This is probably one of our best, as far as I'm concerned. This will be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Trying to figure out. So that's our walk part is walking through Wikipedia from link to link, but we also have the drunkard's part. We do a little bit of drinking usually as we're walking. And Brian, are you imbibing this evening?
I am. I happen to have in my left hand a Kentucky vanilla barrel cream ale. So it's like a Kentucky bourbon beer, but it's got vanilla flavoring. It's very delicious. So I'm sorry if you hear, annoying lip smacking while I'm eating, but that's just how I roll. It's like
it was
like
all the nom nom sounds you were making. It was a little strange, but so is that a beer that you've been drinking for a while, or is that something new for you?
No, actually, I've had the Kentucky bourbon ale beer, which is pretty good, aged in the bourbon barrels. But this one is, I just picked it up recently, a couple 6-packs, and happen to be enjoying it right now.
Yeah. Well, I will say I have had one of theirs. Actually, last week on the podcast here, I was drinking a Kentucky bourbon barrel, but I was drinking the peppermint.
Have you had their peppermint? Was a peppermint.
They have a peppermint stout, which is a nice kind of holiday Christmassy, flavor to it. It doesn't have chocolate in it, but it's a stout, so it's like chocolatey enough in the peppermint, and you know what I mean. So it's very good. If you can find it, I highly recommend it.
I'm going to check it out. There's a brewer around here, the Ohio City Brewing Company, and last year or maybe the year before, they put out a mint, like a mint chocolate. I thought it was a mint chocolate one. And it was only around for like few weeks and I couldn't get a copy. So I'm curious to check the one out that you were just describing. So I want to see if it's any good. That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. I don't know if it's everybody's cup of tea or a pint of beer, but I enjoy it for sure. Jethro, are you having a drink tonight as well?
I am in fact having a delightful glass of red wine. Obviously, this is an audio format, not a video format, but our platinum subscribers will be able to see the Zoom.
That's not we don't.
This is a Saldo wine.
Oh,
and the vintner clearly saved money on the graphic design of their bottle because it essentially has like those old label makers from the 70s where you just punch in one letter at a time. It just says Saldo on a small red strip, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
with like it's like the embossed letters, like the or not embossed, I guess raised. I don't know what they call it.
Like you have a piece of red plastic and you dial it up to S and then you press down and the stretching of the plastic makes it white.
I love it.
It was originally pronounced Salvi, but he like typed it in wrong. And like, I'm not wasting another label. Like it's
exactly.
Saldo now.
Change the company name. Yeah.
What a wise choice that he made there, and saving money too. I love it.
Indeed,
very economical.
I love a wine that's frugal. What about you, Matt? Are you enjoying a beverage?
I am drinking tonight the Maker's Mark 46 cask strength. So this is a 55%-ish, I think, something along those lines. So yeah, this is a bottle I was given for my birthday, and so I'm enjoying a little taste of it here, and we'll see how well I do. So you're drinking the wine, Jethro. I'm drinking the cask strength bourbon. You may be carrying me through the last couple of these, as you generally do.
Who's to say? You know what? Maybe we'll both pass out before we reach our destination.
Oh, hey, there's a possibility. Well, I certainly hope not, because I do hope to get to the Gilda Radner page from Limnic Eruption. That's where we're starting tonight. But Brian, thank you again for coming on. Thanks for the topic, and it's good to see you, man. I hope we can keep in touch a little bit better than we have over the past decade and a half.
Yeah, I'll talk to you again in 20 years in a grocery store somewhere. Yeah. No, sincerely, thank you for having me on. This has been fantastic, and good luck on your adventure, on your Drunkard's Walk tonight. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks you much. Take care, man.
Bye.
All right, the great Gilda Radner.
That's right. So we're going to have to try to find her from Limnic Eruption, as I mentioned. So we're going to have to write down our predictions as to how many steps it might take.
We must do that. And I've got a very special prediction for you, Matt. I think you're really going to like it.
Yeah, you always do have something special in mind. So
don't I though?
You seem to. Okay, I'm going to write down mine. I can't imagine it'll be right, but I'm going to write it down anyway. All right, man. So let's do this thing. Let's really do it. Let's really get to it, if you will.
So I'm on the Limnic Eruption page.
Sure,
as are you.
Sure. That's a good place to start.
I see a couple of categories of links out of here. There's obviously the standard geographic links that are there because it talks about the various lakes and countries where this has happened. I see a wide variety of sort of natural disaster links, none of which really makes me think we're going to get any closer to Gilda Radner, because Gilda Radner was in fact the exact opposite of a natural disaster. She was a natural miracle of grace and genius and hilarity.
But perhaps a tsunami of comedy. Ugh,
tsunami.
Tsunami of comedy.
There you go. There is, however, under historical occurrences, there is the last sentence has, among the victims are perfectly preserved insects, frogs, turtles, crocodiles, birds, anteaters, insectivores, and early primates and paleotheres.
Yikes. Okay. Okay.
So I like birds, and I'll tell you why. If you hover over birds, if you hover over birds, one of the birds there's like a picture montage, a grid of a bunch of different types of birds, and one of those birds is a peacock. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you know this, but the peacock is the mascot of NBC, on which Saturday Night Live
interesting
first aired and continues to air.
Interesting.
And careful listeners will know that Gilda Radner was one of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live. Although I didn't want to correct Brian, Gilda Radner did not play at the same time as Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was in the Dick Ebersol years.
Yes.
But there you have it.
But easy to conflate, I feel, if you haven't gone back and if you're not a scholar of the show.
Certainly none of Eddie Murphy's castmates are particularly memorable. Sorry to the Joe Piscopo
Come on,
fans.
Joe Piscopo. Come on. And didn't John Lovitz make some hay during that time as well?
I don't believe so, because Lorne Michaels left the show for a period, and that's when Dick Ebersol and Jean, and I'm going to mispronounce her name, Domanian, were in charge of the show.
Right.
And Lorne Michaels likes to pretend that those years didn't exist. So he basically scrubbed everybody when he came back. And John Lovitz was part of, I don't believe, the first cast to come back, because that was like the Christopher Guest, Billy Crystal era.
Okay.
But surely that only lasted like a year or two. And then John Lovitz came in like 85, 86, along with Phil Hartman and Nora Dunn. And basically the crew that I think was the best cast ever, because it coincides with when I was in junior high and high school.
Yeah. And that's fair. Although I do have to give some love to the current cast of Saturday Night Live. I think this season of Saturday Night Live has been much better than recent seasons. So I really have to, I'm not saying that they're as good as that cast, because I agree that's my cast as well. But even a little bit later though too, because Adam Sandler and Mike Myers and Dana Carvey and those folks. Yeah.
I think
for them as well. So
SNL has always had many, many talented people on it.
For sure.
In every era. So.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm going to point out. Your birds idea is a good one. I like where you're going with it. I noticed that there's a link in here for carbonated beverage and for soft drink. Now, I know that you're probably not going to go with me on this one, but soft drink would lead very easily into something like a Coca-Cola, and I do believe that Coca-Cola was specifically a sponsor of early SNL and may even have had a commercial featuring Gilda Radner. Now, I'm not 100% certain on that, but I also think that those types of things can get us into the pop culture pretty easily. Even if
literally
isn't
pop culture, hashtag, sometimes some people call soda pop
culture. Yeah, you hear soda culture. But my thought is that perhaps that's a way to go. Perhaps that there's a path in through there as well, rather than going through the Peacock, which, I mean, I guess,
I can tell you're not enthused about it.
Well, my problem with the bird page is I do acknowledge that there's a picture of a peacock on here, but the bird page may not have a peacock linked on it. So that would be my biggest concern, is that once we got to birds, where are we going from birds if peacock isn't in there? What are the other outs?
I would be shocked if the image of a peacock were not a clickable link, but okay. Your point is duly noted.
It's possible. You're right. That's a good chance of that. There's a good chance.
So I have no memory of Coke being a sponsor of SNL, nor do I have a memory of a Gilda Radner Coca-Cola ad. I will say, however, that another popular comedian, was a oft-used figure in Coca-Cola commercials, and I believe was on the board of the Coca-Cola company at some point. Bill Cosby.
Oh, yeah.
Famed comic and sexual assailant, Bill Cosby. And that gives us the opportunity to go into two worlds, sexual assault and comedy.
Oh, great.
Both of which Bill Cosby is known for.
So here's why. So let me tell you why I know that they were a sponsor of the early SNL, is because there's a CD, there's an album that exists of early SNL sketches. I own this CD, and the first track on it, or maybe it's the second track, maybe the first track is like the theme music, is a Coke commercial. It's not a joke. Okay. It's not comedic in any way. It is just a Coke commercial. So I'm positive that that's true. Now, if you get to the Coca-Cola page, do you then get to SNL? Probably not, right? My same bird peacock problem exists with Coca-Cola to SNL, but
and Coke, I don't know if you know this, big company, they sponsor a lot of stuff.
They do.
So
they do.
The idea that even if you were on a Coca-Cola advertising specific Wikipedia page,
right,
I doubt you could get to SNL through that.
But I do think that soft drink gets us into, as I said, pop culture. And I think that those pop culture links might be a closer way to go into like SNL or comedians or whatever route we want to take. I mean, Gilda Radner is best known for SNL, but that's certainly not the only thing that she did. And as was pointed out, I'm married to Gene Wilder. So, tons and tons of movies over the years and things like that as well. So there seem to be a lot of paths through that way. So that's my suggestion. But if you're passionate about birds, I'm willing to explore it just to see if that works out. But I do like soft drink.
I mean, honestly, like I'm inclined to go with you on soft drink because I feel like there's more question marks, and I feel like it would be more a journey of discovery if we go through soft drink.
Great.
Whereas if we go birds to Peacock to NBC to SNL, I feel like that path is known and kind of boring if we can predict it that clearly in advance. So I'm down to go with soft drink. Where's the link for soft drink?
Soft drink is right under causes. It's in the very first paragraph. It says, before a lake is saturated, it behaves like an unopened carbonated beverage, e.g. a soft drink.
All right. So we want to click on soft drink.
Yeah. I think soft drink over carbonated beverage, because I think carbonated beverage actually just goes to carbonation. So you go to soft drink, and boy, oh boy, an extensive page that talks a lot about how a soft drink is a drink that usually contains water, often carbonated, a sweetener, and a natural and or artificial flavoring. So there you go. And then there's a bunch of them mentioned on here: lemon lime drinks, orange soda, cola, grape soda, root beer. And then we see R. White's lemonade, of course, Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Iron Brew, Sprite, Fanta, 7-Up.
Metabolic syndrome.
What's metabolic syndrome?
That is a host of medical problems that are associated with like diabetes and the consumption of two foods that cause metabolic problems, like having too much insulin in your bloodstream, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
It's a huge problem in our country, in our world.
Sounds like it.
There you go.
Yeah.
But not exactly comedy gold.
No, not entirely. I do
see a link to the Coca-Cola company.
I did see Coca-Cola is on here. Yes. Schweppes is on here as well. Ginger beer, sarsaparilla, birch beer. I love them. They're all on here. Hyde Park's on here. No Pliny the Elder though. So,
Well, let's keep looking.
Oh, he could be on here still. Sure. I'm in the 1840s.
There under the See Also section, there is a link to nitrogenation.
Oh,
so for a brief period of time, I did a promotional gig for Guinness, the beer,
yes,
in Chicago. And I remember from my spiel that I did for them, I talked about how Guinness was nitrogenated rather than carbonated.
Yes.
And because the nitrogen molecules are smaller than the carbon, it led to the much smaller bubbles, which led to a much smoother beverage for Guinness than compared to its carbonated sisters.
Yeah, I love the nitro beers. There are a bunch of nitro beers now that you can buy that are either nitro on the tap or nitro in the can. Some of them have a little like specifically Guinness has like a little widget inside of it that releases nitrogen and. Very cool stuff. So I'm not seeing a whole lot other than Coca-Cola Company, PepsiCo, things like that would get us into the pop culture. I was hoping that there would be some mention of other, pop culture-y types of things on this page. They're really Diet Coke and Mentos Eruption is on here, but aside from that.
Well, is there a possibility that we could get into the world? There's some sugar links on here. Could we get into perhaps Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which would get us to Gene Wilder?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that sounds like a good thing to do. Is chocolate itself on here, or well, I don't know, but no. See, I like that in the connection that I have in my brain. But is that really going to be a Wikipedia
your
connection?
Brain is not Wikipedia. Yeah.
I mean, candy's on here. You can link to candy for sure.
Well, candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker.
I guess I can't argue with that. British Sugar is on here. Tate and Lyle. I mean, candy. Candy might be a good way to go. I mean, we were talking about Coca-Cola as a possibility. But
we could also get to cocaine and drug use, and Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor made a lot of movies together. Yeah, so that gets us to Gene Wilder.
Yeah. You think the cocaine page has...
also John Belushi. Listen, a lot of the drug use page could get us to SNL through a lot of different...
Upsettingly true. I see that Cola Wars is on here. There's a link to Cola Wars.
Yes, and which could get us to the lyrics of "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Precisely, man. I mean, there's a lot of pop culture going on from the Cola Wars. And they would talk a lot about the advertising and the the people who were on those advertisements in the Cola Wars page. I would think, because that was a big thing, was the advertising.
But the Cola Wars weren't the Cola Wars like a function of like the 1980s? Like, I feel like that was.
Yeah,
stronger in the 80s than it was in the 70s.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it may have started in the 70s, but it was a little more of a cold Cola War back then. Cola War on ice, if you will, than it would have been. But it really heated up in the 80s. I agree with that. So what do you like? What do you think? What's the best path out of here? Candy, Coca-Cola? What do you like?
I feel like candy, like if the idea is that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is the target, is the route that would get us.
It isn't necessarily, but.
Well, what else from candy is going to get us to Gilda Radner? The
fact that nothing else. Nothing else from candy. No, nothing else from candy. Sorry.
Yeah. So for that reason, I think cocaine, because cocaine can get us to Belushi. It can get us to Richard Pryor.
Where are you seeing? Do you actually see a link to cocaine? On this page? Or are you saying we go to Coke and then we get to cocaine?
We can definitely get to it from Coca-Cola. Right. But
because I don't see cocaine on this page as a direct link right now, unless I'm missing something. Quinine. I see quinine.
We can get to the Food and Drug Administration.
Well, they're going to have a lot of drugs talked about on there, controlled substances, certainly. I don't know. I kind of feel like if that is a potential path for us, as is the advertising thing, I feel like Coca-Cola is potentially the way to go here.
Movie theaters is also linked. And movie theaters could get us to famous directors, film stars, et cetera, et cetera.
Well,
I'm just trying to think of like the highest profile thing that either Gilda Radner or Gene Wilder did. And like, we're looking at like probably like Blazing Saddles or Young Frankenstein to get to Gene Wilder.
Yeah. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is definitely up there too. I mean, that's.
Yeah. So they did Haunted Honeymoon together. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of like the highest rated Gilda Radner films.
See, I can't even think of anything aside from that. I can't think of anything else that she was in.
She did like Gilda Live, I believe, had a theatrical release, but that was her Broadway show.
Yeah.
All right. So where are you seeing Coke linked?
So at the top, it's not even Coca-Cola Company. It is just in the last paragraph before the contents are listed. Our white lemonade, Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola or Coke is a carbonated soft drink. So that's where I'm looking.
All right, let's do it. Coca-Cola, have a Coke and a smile.
There you go. See?
Coca-Cola, newer than Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper being a far superior beverage. I highly encourage you all to drink as much of it as possible.
Is it true that it is flavored with prune juice? That was the story that we heard back when we were in high school, that prune juice was the secret ingredient.
I don't know. I mean, it has 23 exotic flavors combined. Right. But I don't know if prune juice is one of them.
Okay. Well, I guess we may never know. If Jethro doesn't know, I mean, and we didn't go there because we're on the Coca-Cola page now. So
I just drink the stuff.
All right. Well, here we are, Coca-Cola. The color, folks, caramel E150D. So now you know, because I know you've been wondering what color is it. But Confederate Colonel John Pemberton, who was wounded in the American Civil War and addicted to morphine, also had a medical degree and began a quest to find a substitute for the problematic drug.
Very good. Very good indeed.
Yeah. So morphine is definitely on here.
There is an advertising section.
Mm.
I'm not seeing Gilda Radner specifically or SNL linked here.
Right.
But I do see Cola Wars linked. I see Chimpanzees linked.
Oh, sure. Chimpanzees.
I do see Columbia Pictures linked.
Oh, interesting.
Which could get us into the movie films.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of Columbia Pictures. I couldn't even tell you who produced like the Mel Brooks movies and things along those lines. I'm not.
No clue, but it at least gets us into the movie industry.
It does. It does indeed. Let's see. Ira Glass is linked on this page. This American Life is linked on this page. Oh, there's cocaine.
There it is.
Cocaine is here. Use of stimulants in formula. 2 ingredients were cocaine and caffeine. So cocaine is on the page. It is a possibility. If it's not, I don't like it, but I don't like the path that it takes us through. But it does possibly get us there.
It's a dark path. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. Although a very popular one. I mean, there must be something about cocaine that's got so many people coming back to it time and time again. I mean, have you ever done cocaine?
No.
Nor have I. So who are we to judge?
True.
Like maybe it's great. Maybe our lives would be a lot better if we did cocaine.
Maybe. Netflix is linked on here.
Mm-hmm.
As is Stranger Things with its, it did a promotion with a new Coke. It brought new Coke back. Which of course I bought a couple of because I had to try it. I don't know what all the hubbub was about because it just tasted like Coke. So
yeah,
not all that different. But boy, did people get angry about that, folks. If you're young enough that you don't understand what I'm talking about, they released a new Coca-Cola in like 85. It's on this page. So yeah, 1985, and people went out of their minds because they changed the formula. And so angry were people, and this is before the internet. So I don't even know how they expressed how angry they were. It was just on the news.
Oh no, it was ridiculous. I was alive during this time. And
yeah, me too. But I don't remember, like, how did we all know? I don't even know.
People have been dumb forever.
Oh, sure.
And people get angry about the dumbest shit and will continue to do so, I suspect, until the end of time.
That is probably true. But yeah, so they got so upset about it that they brought back Coca-Cola Classic, as they called it. And it was called Coca-Cola Classic for a long time until they finally took the Classic off of there, and they were just like, yeah, it's just Coke. And everyone was like, yeah, it's just Coke. We get it. They do have a link to several artists that have promoted Coca-Cola, including David Bowie, George Michael, Elton John, and Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston?
Whitney. That is the appropriate pronunciation for her name.
Television commercials is on here as well.
Is it?
So that would get us into television, of which Saturday Night Live is a part. But again, that feels like we're going to be walking a while to get to there.
You know what'll get you there quicker?
What's up?
Cocaine. Yeah. Cocaine always gets you there quickly.
Yeah.
That's the lesson I've learned.
You think that they're going to have like a oh gosh, they've got 1979. Oh, it's specifically the Coke commercial, the 1979 Mean Joe Green Coke commercial where the hey kid, he gives him the thing. You know, remember that?
That's a good one. No, it's a classic. One of the best commercials of all time.
I'll bet there's an SNL parody of that.
Oh, there are probably a number of them.
So I'm just saying, you might click on that.
You might, but that's an awfully small bullseye.
There's actual movies listed on here.
Are there?
1, 2, 3, the 1961 American political comedy by Billy Wilder, The Coca-Cola Kid, an Australian romantic comedy film, and The Gods Must Be Crazy.
The Gods Must Be Crazy. Solid movie, but I don't think it has any named stars that we're likely to connect to.
That's probably true.
Radner.
The Beatles, we've got the Beach Boys. Yeah, you got a lot of, well, you know what? I'll bet you quite a few of these performing artists that are listed on here that you were mentioning, David Bowie and Elton John, Whitney Houston. I'll bet these folks performed on SNL.
There was a famous bit on SNL about Lorne Michaels offered the Beatles $5,000 to have a reunion on his show, which was, of course, a hilariously small amount of money for the Beatles.
Right.
And according to the likely apocryphal tale, John Lennon and Paul McCartney were both living in New York at the time, and Lennon was watching the show and he called up Paul McCartney. He was like, we should go down to the studio that night. And sadly, it did not happen. But yeah, I mean, the Beatles could get us, like, how many Beatles have been on SNL as musical guests in their solo careers?
So I know that George Harrison definitely was, because he was the one that, I think it was in response to that invitation he went on, and he did Here Comes the Sun. Yeah. Quite famously. So, and that's very early.
Ringo had to, I feel like Ringo did some films like The Magic Christian with Peter Sellers and I believe Caveman. So he has some like movie exposure. So we could theoretically get to movies from them. Paul McCartney has done like Bond films and stuff like that. So there's possibly a Beatles route, but I'm going to come back to cocaine. I feel like cocaine is always the right answer, man.
It's just such a downer, man. Like, it's such, the reason why is such a downer. And like, plus, what is the cocaine page going to have on it? Is it going to be like famous people that overdosed on cocaine? Like,
yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
You think so?
Of course it will. Why wouldn't it?
Because I don't know that it would. I think it might just be about like the actual drug.
But it's got to have like drug in pop culture. Like, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of our culture in this country is produced by people who are out of their fucking minds.
I know. I understand that.
We aren't personally going to sell cocaine to children as part of the podcast.
I know.
These people are already dead, and they will continue to be dead regardless of what we do.
All right. Well, the only reason that I could be talked into this is because we have gone through the Beatles before, I feel like.
It's true.
So in the interest of not repeating ourselves, Yes, I could be convinced, but I mean, we could also just go through somebody else that's been on SNL. I mean, I'm sure Whitney Houston performed on SNL.
But like, is that one of her highlights? I mean, if we were talking about like Edwin Newman or somebody, right, then that would be, but like Whitney Houston, and also Whitney Houston probably on the cocaine page.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's unfortunately true.
Come on, Matt. Can I interest you in a little bit of cocaine? How about this? We try cocaine, and if you don't like it, we don't have to stick around.
I see. Okay. All right.
It's under criticism near the end of the article there.
Yeah, there's a couple places that it's linked on the page, but
it's everywhere. Yeah, cocaine is so easy to find.
All right. We'll go through that one.
Cocaine. Here we go. From the French, cocaine. It's a tropical alkaloid and stimulant drug obtained primarily from the leaves of two cocoa species native to South America. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty little molecule, and I'm sure it does amazing things in your brains, given the incredible popularity.
Oh yeah, it has. I'm sure.
Highly addictive stuff. Although I tell you what, you didn't get all squeamish when we were talking about going through sugar, and sugar has probably ruined as many lives as cocaine has. Probably more, in fact.
Yeah, it's just
by virtue of the fact that
in a different way, in a way that's culturally acceptable at this point. So
I guess
why we get away with it.
That's the hypocrisy that I'm trying to point out.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're trying to point out.
Cocaine intoxication is linked here. Mm-hmm. Acute chronic addiction, dependence and withdrawal. All right. So many great things here.
Yep.
You know what I'm not saying is a pop culture. Yeah. There is a lovely picture of a woman smoking crack cocaine. God bless. They really got everything covered, don't they?
Yeah. I am not seeing anything about famous people that died of drug overdoses on this page.
That is a darn shame. Have you gone through the entire?
No.
So there's a society and culture.
Yep.
And there is a cocaine in the United States.
There is.
Act or page. So there's almost certainly going to be a lot more in there. I expect that in popular culture, there has to be something along here, although I've gotten to the bottom of the article and it appears that I am wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems that we're pretty out of luck from this point because...
Oh, don't be so quick to give up. Come on now.
Well, I'm saying as far as what we were expecting to see or hoping to find.
Indeed.
We have not found that. So we will have to find a different way.
There is a thing at the bottom under recreational drug use. And if you expand that, boy, oh boy, are there a lot of things that are available here.
I bet.
Cannabis, coffee, Coffee is listed here. Drinking culture, psychedelia, smoking culture, other. Yeah, I feel like maybe is 8-ball listed here?
8-ball.
So 8-ball is what I believe it's a combination of heroin and cocaine, and that's what Belushi died of.
I see.
And
Studio 54 is linked on here.
Oh, that'll get us to New York. Club life.
Studio 54 would also get you to the movie Studio 54, which I believe featured Mike Myers, who was on Saturday Night Live. But again, we're talking multiple steps to get there. But that being said, I don't see a whole lot else that's going to get us out of here.
I mean, we could go to crack. You've tried cocaine. You might as well try crack.
No.
Because that's freebasing, and that's what Richard Pryor was using when he burned himself up.
Yes, that's true. That's fair. But again, I think we're going to run into the same problem that we ran into here, where those things aren't discussed on these pages.
It's true. However, maybe,
yeah.
And this is just me shooting out ideas. Maybe we could just go with John Belushi.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So if you go at the top of the article under uses, and you go to injection, an injected mixture of cocaine and heroin known as a speedball is a particularly dangerous combination. Blah 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 blah, such as comedians, actors John Belushi, Chris Farley, Mitch Hedberg, River Phoenix, Lane Staley, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. I feel like John Belushi is the natural go-to because he was on the cast at the same time.
Gosh, I sure do agree with you. I can't believe. Okay, yes, this is obviously what we're taking is John Belushi.
Aren't you glad we did cocaine?
No.
Aren't you glad we did cocaine?
No, I'm not.
All right, kids, if you're listening, cocaine is the answer.
Okay, is not the answer. It is not the answer. Don't do
It's
cocaine.
not always the answer for everybody, but it sure was the answer for us tonight.
It seems
Let's
to be.
hear it. 3 cheers for cocaine. Hip, hip.
No, I don't think I will do that. Okay, so here we are, and Saturday Night Live right there at the very top. A lot of names listed on this page, though. So I see.
I'd be shocked if Gilda Radner is not on this page, and she's on this page.
What?
If you go to early life, the Second City and National Lampoon,
Yeah.
Gilda Radner is listed in the second paragraph down.
Second paragraph down. Why am I not seeing it?
It's under the Second City and National Lampoon.
Under career. Under career.
Yes,
sorry.
Yes.
I was still reading the one above that. So Gilda Radner, there she is.
Hot doggies.
My goodness gracious, Gilda Susan Radner, folks. We have found her.
We did it. And we couldn't have gotten here without cocaine.
Yeah, I understand. Well, I think we could have, but probably not this quickly. So
and not this fun.
Yeah. So born in 1946, died unfortunately in 1989 at the age of only 42. But yeah, she won an Emmy Award for her performances on Saturday Night Live in 78. And I'm curious to see, we talked about films that she was in. I just want to take a real quick look. Yeah. A bunch of films. Oh, Movers and Shakers. I should have remembered. That's a Steve Martin is in the movie Movers and Shakers.
Is he?
And I own it on VHS because they've not released it on anything else in the history of releases. So it's not a great movie, but it does have a lot of famous people in it. So
there you go. Her Broadway show, Gilda Radner Live from New York, was directed by Mike Nichols, noted improviser and director of great American comedies.
That's right.
On the stage and screen.
That's right. Well, there you go. Wow. Well done. So we have made it from Limnic Eruption to Gilda Radner. And Jethro, I'm sure you can see the same sheet that I can. I'm sure you saw that it took us 5 links in order to get here. So
good for us.
How did you do as far as their prediction is concerned?
Oh, I did great.
Something I love.
Did great. I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with the guests that I made. I'm very pleased with the walk we went on. Once again, I'd like to thank cocaine.
Why are you hesitating?
Because we couldn't get here. Sorry, I'm pouring myself a little bit more of the wine that I have.
I see.
Because all this talk of cocaine has made me hungry for drugs.
I understand.
But I guess 6.
6, an excellent guess, beat out only by...
Oh, you guessed 5.
I guess a 5. That's right. Finally. Well, I guess I won last week too. So I got another win under my belt here. This is good news for me, but Yeah, that was great. I was worried, honestly, when I wrote that 5. I thought it was going to take us longer to get here, but soft drinks, Coca-Cola, cocaine to John Belushi. And boy, I am glad that I was wrong about that, and that they did include some famous people that unfortunately met their head with drugs. Folks, that's why you shouldn't do drugs.
I will throw this fact out there that I've just seen on Gilda Radner's page, and I know we're going to get more into Gilda Radner.
We will next week.
Yes, start on her page, but I have to point this out because I just learned this fact, and I need everybody else to know. First of all, her alma mater, the University of Michigan.
Okay,
Matt, can you see the hat I'm wearing right now?
Yes, it's got a golden M on a blue field.
Exactly.
So I would assume that's the Golden Gophers of Minnesota.
No, it is the University of Michigan, of which my daughter is a freshman. So I feel this binds me ever closer to Gilda Radner.
Okay.
But that's not the fact that I want to share with you.
Yeah. Okay. What is it?
Let me have my association.
No. You got it. You're right. You're right. For sure.
It's either that or I turn to cocaine.
Okay.
Because then I'm related to John Belushi.
Yeah. I'm right. There you go.
But Gilda Radner's second cousin, former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer.
What? Really?
It's right there. Steve Ballmer, a second cousin of Gilda Radner.
Huh. Well, there you go. I would never have guessed. If you that would be a trivia question I'd have gotten wrong. Brian and his wife like trivia so much, that is a trivia question I would have gotten wrong.
Indeed. Well, Matt, I greatly appreciate. First of all, congratulations on your victory this week.
Oh well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And it's always a pleasure going on a walk, and it's no less so this time.
For sure. And Jethro, the next time we speak, it'll be 2022. So a happy New Year to you, and I hope that that ringing in the new year goes well for you. And goodbye, 2021. We've had enough of you. Get the hell out of here.
Indeed. Remember when we said that about 2020 and we got all high and mighty about it?
Yeah.
How glad we were to see 2020 gone.
I do remember that.
And 2021 was actually better. So there you go.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well,
cheers, sir.
Happy New Year. Cheers to you. Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here. Thanks again for joining us for Drunkard's Walk. Of course, a big thank you to Jesse L.E. for our theme music and Nick Jaramillo for our artwork. And of course, another big thank you to you for listening, not just today, but all year long. We really hope that 2021 has treated you okay, that you made it through, and that 2022 is an even better year for you. So a happy and healthy new year to you. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again next week.